Hello, my name is Matthias Cavodi. Welcome guys to my channel. Today we're going to talk about Avengers Academy. Issues 1 through 6, written by Christos Gage, and art, for the love of me, who is it? Mike Mckone. Does a pretty good job. And this series, at least at the beginning, is really slow. I found myself skimming through pages. It takes a while to get its footing. I remember when this came out, one thing that's really bothered me about the series in general is that Gage is coming off the Avengers Initiative, which was a really good title. I had a blast with it. I felt like this was going to be the follow-up to that series, and I really feel it just doesn't deliver. It's very soap opera-y. It's very focused on teenagers. And one thing that happens when you get older is that you lose interest in these teenager type of series that, even though you got superheroics and superpowers, so on and so forth, it also leans a lot into the relationships between the characters and dealing with growing up and stuff like that. That, at least in my case, I've seen it a billion times and it gets a little bit old. But I guess Marvel has to have a title like this every once in a while just to get this particular audience. Now, the main premise of this series is all the characters in it. That's how sort of bad this series is in that aspect, that the new characters that they present, I can't remember any of their names. Like, I really just didn't care for any of the new characters that are presented, because another thing is that after the series ends, I think you got Avengers Arena and Avengers Undercover. These characters never appear again. I do like the professors of the team in Avengers Academy, who are actually the worst professors and adults supervising children in Marvel Comics history. So that's going to lead to a lot of fun further down the line, when the series sort of finds its direction. So Hank Pym is like the headmaster of the school, and the teachers and supervisors, we have Justice, Tigra, Speedball, Jocasta is also on the team. Quicksilver, who has terrible advice for all the kids. The kids, only member of the lineup, it's Reptile, that can sort of mute into dinosaurs. At first, only certain parts of his body can change into dinosaurs. He can't turn to a full-on T-Rex yet. Another character that I found sort of interesting is this one. Her name's Finesse, I think. I might be totally wrong. That sort of has powers within the league of Taskmaster. Later, further down the line, we're going to get a story arc with her actually encountering Taskmaster and asking him if she's his father. And it's like a pretty heartbreaking story. We learn stuff about Taskmaster that adds some depth to the story, that basically, because since he can copy other people's skills, not powers, and he has photographic reflexes, stuff like that, that really messes up his memory, because he's always learning stuff all the time. So he forgets everything, up until the point that his own personal identity is always put into question. But that doesn't happen in these first 6 issues. Like, they take forever to set up this new team. There's a kid with thunder powers, sort of an asshole. The Red Skull dude that's has super strength. But he's just pretty much a nice guy. Oh, I have to get back to the premise of this story. Sorry, I got derailed there. All these kids were experimented on by Norman Osborn. He did really messed up stuff to them. They're really tortured, to the point that the Avengers, when they got the kids' files of these kids, they're sort of worried that all these kids can turn into villains, just basically snap and become a liability to everyone around them. And that's sort of like the big reveal of the story. Like, they really set it up to be, oh boy, this is really serious. But like, within the personalities of the characters, like, none of them feel like they're deranged psychopaths. So issue 1, issue 2 is like, again, they take forever for the setup. We get to see Finesse thinking that she's the daughter of Taskmaster. Everything's very dialogue heavy, and everyone's thinking about themselves and their feelings and so on and so forth, and how they interact with other characters, and that Reptile's never kissed anyone, and he's just really awkward. Then we get to and it takes forever. Like, so you can see every once in a while them training with other heroes and stuff like that. Like, there's the overarching story story arc in the first couple of issues virtually doesn't exist. There's just things that happen in the series at first. We have Speedball, that even though it seems that he's sort of like, he's still penance, he's cutting himself, like he's still the edgelord. So they go for a field trip to a supervillain prison. That's a great idea, to take these kids to show them against the villains they might fight in the future. And this actually crosses over with the Thunderbolt series. And so basically, the kids discover Norman Osborn's in the prison, and some of the members are going to set out to kill Norman Osborn for all the messed up stuff they did. Toxic, I think her name is. Again, I didn't take the effort to relearn the name of the characters. She's just Yellow Girl for me. That's uses her radiation powers to cause an electromagnetic pulse. I'm not sure how that happened. I don't understand too much about physics, but what happens is, for them to get down to Norman Osborn, they cut the lights out to the whole prison. This causes a gigantic prison riot. It's a tie-in it crosses over with the Thunderbolt series. What happens in the Thunderbolt series is actually really awesome. And here, it's not so interesting. Here we have on the cover, the kids fighting against Juggernaut. Misleading covers, I really hate them, because that does not happen in this story. But their encounter with Norman Osborn, and how Norman Osborn sort of talks him down from killing him, and how he manipulates them, it's really good. It's like the only good thing in 6 issues is these 3 pages of dialogue where Norman Osborn said, hey, look, one day we might encounter each other, and I'm going to tap into your full potential, so on and so forth. This never happens in this series. Thunderbolt run with Luke Cage, it was okay. I liked the first part. It got really interesting. Then I think they got shuttled into another dimension, another reality. That's where I sort of dropped out on that series. But the beginning, at least first 10 issues were really entertaining. So here we have our heroes dealing with the jailbreak. Then we discover that Thunder Dude, he sort of messed up because he was abused by his manager, because his mom wanted him to be famous. Try to humanize him and make this story compelling, but the way it's presented, it just sort of really falls flat. Like, you feel nothing for him. Then in the last issue, we have Whirlwind attacking Hank Pym because Wasp, Janet Van Dyne, his ex-wife, died, and he thinks it's his fault. And I had no idea the original Whirlwind was the chauffeur to Wasp, and he was sort of in love with her. I find it hilarious that also Whirlwind is really pissed off with Hank Pym because he took up the moniker of Wasp and that he had no right. So I'm going to leave this video here. This series does get better further down the line. It does lean more onto this para Avengers team that we have with the staff. And I really love Hank Pym, but again, these kids are really not too interesting. So see you guys next time. Bye.